students, I am Purnima. How are you? I hope you people are safe in your house. Now once again I welcome you to my English class. Children, we are here doing the lesson EVANS tries an O-level. Before starting my chapter, children, I don't know whether you are reading the books or not, because reading is a very important part in literature and language. If you will not read word by word, you will not able to know what really is there in the story. Though we are explaining it in the online classes, we are explaining it on our video, but that it is for you also that reading is very necessary. And not only that, it will give food for your thought. It will tell you about some new word which I think you must have forgotten when you must have heard and watched my videos. So, and it also tells how some words are used there, how the new words are used in the sentence. Then lot of grammatical things you can know, how the prepositions are used, how punctuation marks are there. Alright, so these are the things which will make you perfect. So children, love English, learn English, and enjoy your language. Now with this, I start my study. We will study today, and I was telling you that children, we were doing EVANS tries an O-level. Written by Colin Dexter, Norman Colin. Okay, this is the name of the author. I told you that EVANS was a prisoner and he wanted to appear for his O-level German examination. Everything was arranged by the secretary of the examination. The smooth conduction of the examination was there, and finally what happened? I also told you 2 prison officers were appointed for him to watch and to have a keen eye, to have a hawk eyes on. They were watching him very carefully. He was, thorough checking was there in his cell, and not only he was checked, his invigilator was also checked, because the governor was feeling that he might be made hostage by EVANS. And everybody was very careful, as I told, that he escaped from the jail 3 times. All the preparation were made. He was kept in a high-wall prison. He was 2 iron doors were there, which the inside and the outside door was locked. There were many officers who were there watching him, and 2 extra prison officers were appointed just for him for the smooth conduction of the examination. Apart from that, governor himself, he has installed a telephone in the cell where EVANS was giving the examination, and he was hearing every conversation what was going on between EVANS or invigilator or by anyone. Well, while giving the examination, EVANS told that he did not want anyone in the room, because earlier one of the prison officers was there. EVANS told that he is getting disturbed and he wanted a peaceful atmosphere for him to give the examination. Governor also felt that it would be too much if somebody would be standing inside the cell. So he told the prison officer, Stephen, to move outside the jail and he could watch from outside. Now children, let me tell you, there was a peephole. What is a peephole? I think I've told you, I've discussed with you. Peephole is a hole in the door through which you can see what is happening inside. If you will put your eyes in front of that hole, you will be seeing all what is going on inside the jail. So he was, after every minute, see how beautiful he was. After every minute he was watching from peephole. And also children, For 1.5 hour he has done like that, but after that, after every 2 minutes, he was seeing the things, looking the things through people that everything was going well. One thing he noticed, three strange things he noticed. Whenever he saw Yvonne through the people, he saw that he was sitting in one position, pen in his lips, looking straight towards the door. Second thing, while giving the examination at 10:50, okay, what happened? All of a sudden he started feeling cold, and he asked to give a blanket. He dropped himself in the blanket which was given him from the jail only. And the third thing was there that he, the governor heard a whispering sound. He was more carefully watching. Well, the examination was finished. It was governor who ordered Stephens to go and leave Invigilator McNary to accompany him till gate. He was very happy for this privilege. He was happy that governor has asked him. There were so many officers, but he was given this privilege to leave him till gate. He went with the invigilator till gate, and then he came. He felt that he had already late for his work. Children, before this, one thing has happened. Okay, and at first this strike in the governor's mind also. When the examination was being conducted, a phone came from assistant secretary. Though he had talked to the secretary of the examination, but this time a assistant secretary of the examination, he rang him and he told that he had forgotten to keep that correction slip inside the envelope, so he can send anybody to collect that sheet. And children, the slip came given to the invigilator, and he started speaking few things which was for correction only, with a nice Scottish accent, and even the way he was making him do the correction, even the governor was impressed by the invigilator. In such a nice accent he was speaking, in the Scottish accent. Okay, now children, the rest of the thing I'm going to teach you now. So please open your book, page number 81, the last paragraph we were doing. He re-entered the wing, made his way along to Yvonne's cell, and opened the peephole once more. Oh, not Christ, no! There, sprawled back in Yvonne's chair, was a man. For a semi-second, Stephens thought it must be Yvonne. Now, children, now you can see what really happened. Now, children, like the ladies, children, when they see late night TV and when they don't lock the door, after watching the TV or when they will come from outside, they will go so many times to check whether the door is locked or not. The same condition was happened to Stephen also, the prison officer. It was his duty, he felt it was his duty to check thoroughly where Yvonne was sitting, because already he had escaped from the jail trials and he felt that he should be very careful. Now, children, he accompanied McLaren to the gate, and while coming, he felt that he should have coffee, for which he was already late. But before going to the canteen, he thought he must look inside the peephole at what Yvonne is doing after giving his examination. And he was very happy that everything was, the examination was conducted very smoothly, everything was okay. Even he was quite satisfied. Now, children, it was as usual when he started looking from the peephole, he was surprised, he was shocked, he shouted, "Oh Christ! Oh, not Christ, no." That means something he had seen which was not usual. Something he had seen which was something extraordinary, which he was not expecting for. There, sprawled back to Yvonne's chair, was a man. For a semi-second, Stephens thought it must be Yvonne, a grey regulation blanket slipping from his shoulder. Now children, the word sprawled is here. Sprawled here means lying with arms and legs spread out. The man was there, okay, and in such a position, sprawled. His both hands and his uh, arms and legs were spread out. Blood was coming from his hair, from his head. A grey regulation blanket slipping from his shoulder, and the blanket which he had asked, it slipped from the shoulder of that man. Now, page number 82. So, children, he was shocked to see the situation, the condition that a man was sitting in a chair and he is bleeding his head. A lot of blood is coming out from his head and he is brought back in a one chair. The front of his closely cropped, irregularly tufted hair awash with fierce red blood which had dripped already through the small black beard. Well, children, some word meaning you have to write. Okay, cropped means cut. Irregularly means not regular. Tufted. Tufted means, children, I am going to write some of the meaning of the word also. Tufted means bunched. Okay, so bunch of hair, and in that hair, okay, red blood which had dropped, which had dripped already through the small black hair, beard. Children, drip means falling drop by drop. So his hair and his beard, the blood was coming out, and from his beard it was dripping, that it was falling drop by drop, and was now even spreading horribly over the white clerical collar and down into the black clerical front. Now, children, the father, the person, I think you know the dress, they put a gown-like thing, okay, the long robe, and it is of black color. And on that they put a white round-shaped collar. The collar is a bit hard. So the blood was dripping from his it was coming from his head, dripping his beard, and from there it was falling drop by drop to his clothes. Now, paragraph 2 of page number 82. Stephens shouted wildly for Jackson. Stephens, he was shocked. He did not imagine that this thing will happen. So he shouted wildly for Jackson. And the words appeared to penetrate the curtain of blood that veiled McCreary's ears. Penetrate means, children, to enter deep inside. Alright. So, children, he shouted in such a loud manner that the curtain of blood that veiled McCreary's ears, for the minister had felt feebly for a handkerchief from his pocket. And children, first of all, he was surprised that it was not EVANS sitting on the chair. It was Mr. McCreary. He was sitting in a chair with sprawled position. That means his whole hands and legs were spreading. Bleeding was there. Heavy bleeding, excessive bleeding was there from his head. Now he did not even imagine this thing, Mr. Stephens. He shouted for Mr. Jackson, and he shouted so loudly as if the word appeared to penetrate the curtain of blood that veiled McCreary's ear. Veiled means the whole blood, spontaneously it was flowing upon the ears also. It veiled means covered. Until he was lying, in this one word here, feebly. Feebly means weakly. His hand was weakly lying. He was not able to even pick up his handkerchief. He was not able to take out his handkerchief from the pocket also, and hand it to his bleeding head. He wanted to keep that handkerchief upon his bleeding head, but he was feeling so feeble that he was not able to take out his handkerchief from the pocket. The blood seeping slowly through the white linen. He gave a long, low moan and tried to speak. Now, children, he gave a long, low moan. What is a moaning? Moan means to cry in a slow manner. So he was moaning, poor fellow, and he gave a long, low moan and tried to speak, but his voice trailed away, and by the time Jackson had arrived and dispatched. Now, children, trailed away. Trailed away means become quieter and then stop. So, children, trailed away. It means become quieter and then stop. So please note down the words of new words meaning, otherwise we will forget it. So children, finally he was not able to speak also, he had become so weak. Well, by the time Jackson had arrived and dispatched Stephens to bring the police and the ambulance. Now children, by the time the other officer, Mr. Jackson, also came, and he dispatched means sent Stephens to ring the police and to call the ambulance. The handkerchief was sticky. The handkerchief, he felt it was sticky. That means, children, see, all the sentence here is very important. It is written the handkerchief was sticky, but we don't know that was it sticky due to blood or was it sticky with something else. This we have to, that's why this story word by word we have to read it, then only you will be able to understand. Squelchy wash of clothes. Now children, squelchy means making wet, sucking sound. Children, when we wash the clothes, nowadays we are having washing machine, I think everybody must be having, but earlier and sometime at home also when we wash the clothes, children, what is that noise which we hear when we wash the clothes? So that noise is known as squelchy wash of clothes. But children, the handkerchief was so sticky that when they were putting on his head to stop the bleeding, a small squelchy wash can be heard. McClary slowly raised himself, his face twisted tightly with pain. Now McClary, finally, he very slowly he raised his head, his face, and twisted tightly with pain. And we all, when everybody was there, one or two officers were standing near him. They felt that he was in a great pain. So let's see. Gianna worry about the ambulance. Now children, he is again with his Scottish accent. So I am going to read. And children, you can see it is written in the inverted comma. And inverted comma means when somebody speaks, the exact dialect of the speaker is kept in the inverted comma. So this sentence is in inverted comma. That means whatever McClary, the person who was sitting in the chair, is speaking, his word is there. Now we are reading. Now children, just see, he is telling in the Scottish accent. And what he is telling? He is telling here. Diana worry about the ambulance. Diana means do not. He is telling Diana worry about the ambulance. That means do not worry about the ambulance. Man, I'm right. I'm right. He is telling I'm all right. Nothing worse has happened to me. Get the police. I know where he. Now he is telling, please call me the police soon. I know where the Evan must have left. He closed his eyes and another dip of blood splashed like a huge red drop on the wooden floor. Well, he closed his eyes and finally what they have seen, that another drip of blood, it splashed. Splashed means spread out. Okay, splashed. Splashed means spread out, and the dip of blood was spread splashed like a huge red raindrop on the wooden floor. And children, there was a wooden floor, and all the blood splashed there. From that means, children, he was having a very excessive bleeding. Yet the governor, I know where Yvonne. Now he's telling, you can call governor also. I know where Yvonne must have left. Almost immediately, children, paragraph 4. We are there in paragraph 4. He told, almost immediately, sirens were sounding. Prison officer barked order. Bark means, children, they were shouting like dogs. They were so nervous, they were so surprised at what they have to do. So that's why, children, it is written here, barked. Almost immediately, sirens were sounding. Children, why the siren were sounding? Now, children, as soon as the jail authorities got the message that it is Yvonne who ran away, sirens were there. That means it was indicating, those sirens were indicating that somebody has run away from the prison, and there should be a high alert in the prison. Prison officers barked order. Bark order means the officers, they were like a dog, they were barking, they were passing their order quickly, what to do, what not to do. Puzzled prisoner pushed their way along the corridor. The other prisoner, they were very much puzzled, and they were pushing their way toward the corridors, knowing, they were even surprised, and they were eager to know what really has happened, who had escaped, why the so hustle bustle is there in front of them, and why so much chaos is there in the jail. So they came to where they were kept. Okay, along the corridors in their door, near the door they were standing. Doors were banged and bolted. They could only hear a lot of doors were banged and then again closed, as if somebody is searching for someone. And phones were ringing everywhere. The other prisoners and the other people who were there, they were listening. So many phones were ringing everywhere. And within a minute, McCleary with Jackson and Stephens supporting him on either side. His face now streaked and caked with drying blood. And children, within a minute, what people had seen, that Mr. McCleary, he was carried by these two prison officers, one side Mr. Jackson and on the other side Mr. Stephens, and they were supporting him on either side. He was supported by these two prison officers, and he was greeted in the prison yard by the governor, perplexed and grim. Perplexed means, children, disturbed and confused. So let me write it. Perplexed. This is a very common word, but this is a good word. You can use it anywhere. Perplexed means disturbed and confused. Okay. So, children, he was treated in the prison yard. He is standing, his defense supporting him on either side. His face now is straight and caked with drying blood. He was greeted in the prison yard for the governor, perplexed and grim. Perplexed means disturbed and confused. And children, grim. And grim means sad. You can also write the word of this word. Grim means sad. So his face was now streaked. Streaked means lined with blood. A blood had dried, and a line of blood can be seen, and caked with drying blood. Was greeted in the prison yard by the governor. Then he was greeted in the prison yard by the governor. Governor was perplexed. He was very much confused and disturbed at why he was continuously on the phone, listening everything. Then how it can happen? Such a blunder took place, and he became grim. He became very sad. He was thinking, why after so much alert and everybody was so careful, how this incident took place in his jail. We must get you in hospital immediately. I just don't want. Now, children, he is telling he will be sending you to the hospital immediately. I just don't. Now, children, he could not complete his sentence. We have called the police. Now, he's telling we have called the police also. Yes, yes. They are on their way. But now, children, it is McCleary is asking the governor, have you called the police? He told, yes, yes. They are on their way. But I am a right. I am a right. Look here. Awkwardly, he opened the German question paper and thrust it before the governor's face. Now, children, suddenly he was having in his face that German question paper, and with force he threw on the governor's face. It's there. Do you see what I mean? He's telling, just see what is there in the paper, and then you will know what I mean to say to you. The governor looked down and realized what McCleary was trying to tell him. Now, children, the governor was also shocked because he told that what McCleary really was trying to tell him. That means something is wrong, maybe with the correction slip or with the question paper. Okay, and that's what McCleary was trying to tell to him. The governor looked down and realized what McCleary was trying to tell to him. A photocopied sheet had been carefully and cleverly superimposed over the last foreignly blank page of the question paper. Children, superimposed means placed over another thing. And children, what he had shown him, he had shown at the last page which was blank, a photocopy page, okay, and it was photocopied. Photocopied means placed over another thing, had been carefully and cleverly superimposed over the last page of the question paper. That means some extra sheet were to stick on the last page of the question paper. Children, we are now here at page number 83. See what they have said. See again the Scottish accent, and here we can tell that he is telling you see here means you see what they have done, Governor EC. He is telling that means you see what they have done, Governor, you see. His voice trailed off again. Again his voice became very, just because due to weakness, due to bleeding, again his voice became very low and almost quieted. As the governor dredging the layers of long neglected learning. Dredging means children pulling up from the bottom. The governor, he just pulled for that paper from that place, and he was feeling very awkward that how this part can be, could not be, it was neglected by him and the other prison officer. Willed himself to translate the German text before. And children, something was written in Germany and he wanted to translate those things. Children, what is written? Sei sollen dem Sochen verabredeten Plan Genu der wichtige Jetpulgi as 3 minutes for end test examines. Okay, so children, this line was written in German, so that was the reason nobody was able to read that line, and they must have thought since that it is examination related with German language, so it must be related with the question paper. But then it was a biggest mistake that they were not able to see the question paper. They should have the answer sheet and the question paper, because the person, the examinee who was giving the examination, he was not an ordinary examinee, he was a prisoner. So he is telling, you must follow the plan already. Something, the vital pointing in time is 3 minutes before the end of the examination, but something. Okay, now children, the thing is that he was not able to understand, but children, vital means very important point is here, that it was written 3 minutes before the examination. This much they could have understood if everything was written in German language, that 3 minutes before the examination. Then what happened? They were not doing something, something, something. That means something worse must have happened just before the 3 minutes before the examination end. Don't hit him too hard. Remember, he is a minister, and don't overdo the spot accent well. Now, children, again they felt that it was written there, don't hit too hard. Remember, he is a minister. Now, children, he was a minister. Who is a minister here? Mr. McClary. Okay, Mr. McClary is a minister here, and they are telling, don't hit him too hard because he is a minister. As well, children, he was the parson of the church also. Okay, so they are telling that this should not happen, but then something happened, I think before the 3 minutes before the examination, and then they were able to calculate that it was written, don't hit him too hard, remember he is a minister, and don't overdo the spot accent when dash dash dash. And it was also, I think it was written there, don't overdo, that means don't show your Scottish accent. Remember, children, when McClary was accompanied by Mr. Stephen, even he felt that he is speaking his Scottish accent in some different way. So, children, in my next video, I will be telling you what happened. Now is the peak point we are reaching, and don't you feel the story is getting interested? Though it is a long chapter, but it is very interesting. And for this, our author, he got the McAverty Award also. So this with I conclude my video here.